Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. You know, one of the amazing things about being here at Sweetwater is as we've grown over the years, we've really become a destination for our customers and for our manufacturer partners, but also for artists. Artists come in, they may do a performance, they may appear in a sales meeting, they may be here on behalf of a manufacturer, but we always try to sit down with them and catch an interview. With this incredibly diverse array of artists coming in, we've been able to pick their brains, we've been able to pick up tips, get some tutorials from them to learn how they think about music, how they think about audio production, and now we're bringing all of that wisdom, all that experience to you by taking the best of those interviews and presenting them here.
You can never be so judgmental as to suggest that anybody not play the guitar. Right? But what everybody should be striving for is having the guitar become slightly secondary to the impulse of music you want to make. And it's a very subtle, but once you key into it, very identifiable thing. Are you playing the guitar based on the scale presented to you? Or are you using the guitar to express an idea that happens, and it could be 1/10 of a second before you play. But if you can honor that intention, that's what I'm interested in as a player. Now, you're also going to have people who want to play the guitar because they love how it feels to play guitar.
And I had music in my head. And I had these riffs and melodies, and I wanted to play them, and I had the instrument, and I had no idea how to get them out. And anybody who learns the instrument, we often have similar paths. You take lessons, you learn the scales, you learn the arpeggios, learn the chords.
Right.
I did the same thing as anybody. I mean, I was self-taught a lot as well. But, you know, learn the stuff you're supposed to learn.
Sure.
And in that process, I forgot my original goal, which was I've got music in here, and I want to get it into my hands and out through the amp.
You're going to have to figure out the puzzle for yourself, and you're going to have to work harder than your next door neighbor and longer, and that'll help you succeed. Be at the right place at the right time with the right thing. If I want to be a country singer, why would I live in Paris? You know the answer. Where should I go?
I would suggest Nashville.
Nashville, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
The mountain's not coming to you, you got to go to it.
And the amp gives back. It's not just taking. You know, it's not just taking what you're doing. It is actually feeding the player because it makes you play different when the amp responds. And that, in the best case scenario, whether that's blues music or country or anything like that, the amp becomes a part of the equation and does dictate how I play quite often.
Well, you said that the amp is the most important, then it's mic placement, and then it's guitar, as far as the
Yeah, I would
equipment
say
goes
so.
in terms of the tonal equation.
Well, it's all, Ken Fisher always said that, you know, with Trainwreck. He was always like, a great amp and a crappy guitar could be the greatest thing you've ever heard. Crappy guitar, you know, or, you know, great guitar through a really crappy amp, I don't know.
Right.
Might not work.
Right.
Might as well have a, you know, bad guitar.
There's also an element of making them your own. Tell us a little bit about that. How do you look at a song and say, this is what we need to do for it to sound like us and for it to be on our recording?
Because that's a very fine dance. How to do it respectfully, how to take someone's song and make it your own without clobbering all over what like the essence of the song is and how the artist intended it. But for
Luckily,
us,
it has been a very organic thing. It's just the two of us sitting in a room and just playing it. And it's kind of like what comes out. Like we don't have to work too terribly hard at thinking about, oh, what should it be or what shouldn't it be? It's kind of like what it is.
But I think that that's also a function of having done so many tip of the hats at this point. Like that's why we started doing that video series, was to learn ourselves better by learning other people's songs. I mean, that's how you get better at anything. It's, you know, you pedal the bike around the neighborhood countless times, you play that, you know, AC/DC riff 1,800 times in order to get the muscle memory. And so for us, learning other people's songs, we were building up the muscle memory of who we are as artists.
Right. I feel like I need to put the work in, and the biggest thing is consistency. And I think I play the best probably when I'm in a situation where consistency is happening by necessity, whether I'm in a studio and just playing and writing and recording every day so my playing gets better, or if I'm on a tour like G3 and I have a certain set of music to play and I have to keep that up, and so I need to make those chop sessions happen every day. And then we're playing so many shows that there's that real high level of consistency where you can perform the way that you want, that's when I'm at my best.
And you know, the smoke clears and there's Vi, and with this red guitar, it looks so cool. But I still aspire at this day, you know, that I was 13 then, I'm 31 now, I still aspire to be as cool as Steve Vai was in Crossroads. His playing, was so effortless and so much joy, and it just looked like so much fun to do what he was doing.
And I wanted to make sure that my records sounded alive, you know, that they sounded like, you know, that they were inspirational, that they weren't like perfect, dull, flat, you know, I've sung this 99 times and everything's perfect. I wanted to get a performance, and so, you know, I just had, as soon as I could, I got my own tape recorder and started doing it myself, and that was what really was the Fly Like an Eagle record. I recorded all that stuff at my house. I mean, I cut the tracks in the studio, went home and worked on that and Book of Dreams and all those hit songs on my own in my living room with my little 8-track tape recorder. I had a sync tone, had a stereo mix, and it gave me 5 tracks.
Wow. That's amazing.
1-inch tape.
Right.
And that's how all those songs were made.
Amazing. So what is the process for writing the songs? Do you come in with lyrics first? Do you have riffs first? Or how does the song evolve?
Different ways. It's always from inspiration, though. We don't have writing sessions. We never just call each other up and say, hey, let's go in the studio and write an album. That never happens. One or the other of us will come to the other guys with some music. Usually it starts with a lyric for a chorus or a verse or something, and a melody. So usually a few chords and a melody is how something starts out. And then, you know, you call the other guys, and I'll send it over to JD on my voice recorder off the phone and go, hey, listen to this, what do you think of that? And then we'll play it for Teddy, and he'll go, oh yeah, that's pretty good. And then we'll end up all getting together. So we all do the music. I usually write the lyrics, and it's all done different ways. And obviously Ted, as a keyboard player, will bring something different to the table, because JD and I write on guitar, which is a different animal. So he'll come in with some wacky piano chord or something. He's like, what if we did this? And we're like, wow, that sounds cool. We don't know how to do that.
Because that's what I do. Right. You know, it's like being a railroad engineer, right, and having a whole bunch of HO trains all over the house, you know, that run throughout the house. Right. You become, if you are really about what you do, to a greater or lesser degree, and it's different in grades, degrees for different people, you become that. You live that every day. It doesn't go away at 5 minutes past 5 in the afternoon. Right. And start again at, you know, 8:59. No. It's all the time. How can I do this better? Or what do we need? Or what are the requirements for tomorrow's gig? What is the room going to be like? What heads do I need? What do I have to work with? And finding some compromise to play the best, as a player, the best that you can.
You know, I'm kind of a little bit of a control freak, I guess, to a fault, but at the same time, I really enjoy being around the creative process. And I know some producers, they get to the point where they've had some success and then they stop coming in as much and leave it to other people to do. And I wouldn't be good at that, because, like I said, it'd be fear of missing out on something, as well as to get the sound and the vision that I have in my head for something, I've got to do it.
Right.
So I'm still like doing 90% of my own engineering and even playing a lot of the instruments. And to me, that's just, it's too much fun to miss out on that.
Right.
So.
A lot of what I try to do these days, I try to do outside of normal guitar style. I try to get inspiration from other instruments or things that are just interesting to me, like music from the Bulgarian Women's Choir or something. I transcribe some pieces that were these choral arrangements, but all on guitar. And so there's weird harmonies and rhythms and stuff. And so those kind of things I'll do just to expand my vocabulary musically as a guitarist, as a composer.
I think when I started learning how to play the drums, like I said, I would just put on headphones and play along with it. And even today, I'll go out to my drum kit and put in an album that I really like and play along with it. And I feel like that helped me musically, but it also helped me from a kind of a performance standpoint too, because I felt like if I like closed my eyes, I felt like that band's in there with me and we're all playing together. And I don't know what it was. Maybe that was just me fantasizing about playing live, but that was something that I really enjoyed doing. And so I think now, because of that, I like to have everything in my mix.
That ties into a quote I saw from you in an interview that I thought was really cool, which was something along the lines of creativity calls for change.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great.
Yeah. And that's to me, that's always true.
Mm-hmm.
That's always true. No matter what you come up with, no matter how many hits you got, no matter what it is or how great you are, it's about that change, man.
Right.
And always be looking forward to it.
Right.
Well, we got to figure out what groove is, first of all. And I think it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think of a groove, it's just right like a record. You think of an LP, right?
Right.
It's the groove, right? So you're staying in the groove. You're trying to get in the groove, and so you don't vary from the groove. So it's just, to me, it means all playing together and making a kind of music that feels good.
Sometimes I've had artists where we've just talked and then I realize where they want to be in their career doesn't feel like I can connect there. And I'll have this wonderful conversation and then I'll just send them along their way and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't think we're meant to write together. I think maybe you're supposed to come here and we're supposed to talk. But wait a minute, I don't understand. I mean, we're paying you to hang out with you. I don't want your money. We didn't do anything. Go give it to somebody else. But I'll take your money if you want me to write you a stupid song.
Right.
I'll take it. But do you really want that? And they're like, no. And then they're shocked how honest I am. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're not supposed to work with people. Maybe you're just supposed to talk to them and connect.
When you're composing, you have to keep in mind what the possibilities are of the other instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to write, and the instrumentalist. Now, in the classical world, there's certain expectations from a musician to be able to perform, like if you have a violin, you go. Of course, as a composer, you have to know how to bow it, you got to how to phrase it, what the fingering is actually going to be so it's possible. Mm-hmm. It's a very bad form to compose something that doesn't sit well on an instrument. I learned this because I've been composing, and what happens is, I'd get all uppity and, write something on the guitar that was, and try to impress the other player of a French horn, to how cool I can, and he'd be like, I can't play this.
Right.
And I go, you can't, but you should be able to. He goes, well, I can, but I don't want to. It's not fun, you know what I mean? It's too hard.
I think everybody does. I mean, we have to deal with the ego. We're alive. We have to have enough ego to get out of bed and brush our teeth and stuff. But but I think there's that comparing yourself to other people or the competition or wondering how, and it all comes from, well, where's my place in the world as a musician? What is it? And it really comes from fear and insecurity, I think, because really, I think the best antidote to that is going back to square one of why we play an instrument. And that's just because it's fun, because there's joy in it. We receive joy, and if we receive joy, it's like walking in a room. If we start smiling, it's just a matter of time before somebody, if not the whole room, starts smiling. It's infectious.